Good morning, dear students. I am Ms. Vandana Pai. In today's lecture of the subject Fundamentals of Management, we will be studying the contribution of F.W. Taylor. Okay, mainly the contribution given by F.W. Taylor is related to scientific management. Okay, we will go through scientific management as well as we will see some of the characteristics of scientific management. So, whenever we think about scientific management, what is scientific management all about? Okay, scientific management is an intellectually complex set of techniques for coordinating human behavior in organizations or for providing organizational members with the skills and knowledge to do so. This implies that it is a systematic study of relationship between people and tasks that enables redesigning of work towards higher efficiency. Okay, the term scientific management is used in the special sense of an approach to management according to which the management undertakes the responsibility for deciding the proper standard and method of work and providing for close supervision of workers. So whenever we consider scientific management, okay, what is scientific management? Yes, scientific management, it does studies. Okay, it does studies the methods of work, okay, the proper standards, and also it relates to close supervision of workers. Okay, so prior to actually going through the meaning of scientific management, let's see what F.W. Taylor, this management thinker, he has contributed towards management, and then we will go through the scientific management actually. F.W. Taylor was the chief contributor of scientific management. He is also known as father of scientific management. Okay, and he was born in USA in 1856, and till 1915 he had contributed towards management studies. Okay, now let's see the history of scientific management. Science of management is as old as human history. In our country, during the past few decades, the managerial revolution has changed the status of management from amateur to professional. Now, management has gained more importance in our industry, trade, and commerce. Management encompasses fundamental issues relating to human welfare and values. Management is no longer is exclusive domain of the entrepreneur. Social scientists, behaviorists, economists, mathematicians, engineers, scholars, public administrators, and so on have significantly contributed to the development of management thought. Management achieves an objective with which the resources, okay, made available, they are utilized at the fullest extent. It functions in practically every phase of human activity, for example, in the home, on the land, in the school, in the shop, factory, bank, hospital, library, cooperative, labor unions, religious organization, municipality, state, nation, and international organization. Although an individual person manages his personal affairs, management usually refers to those activities conducted by group. The social character of management is apparent as soon as one person is employed by another or good or services are provided for use of others. Good management or scientific management achieves a social objective with the best use of human and material energy and time, with the satisfaction for the participants and the general public. It utilizes the resources of nature and human nature for the benefit of mankind. It applies human intelligence, cooperation, and skill as well as technology to achieve social aims. In a sense, both management and technology are means, not ends, and can be applied to socially destructive as well as constructive ends. The rise of management as a profession, however, has necessarily involved ethical and social considerations. Ends as well as means must be taken into account. An enterprise comes into being to accomplish an objective or a series of objectives which can be attained better by a group of people than by one person alone. An organization is a system of cooperative activities of two or more people. People join the enterprise in order to satisfy their needs, desires, and aspirations. They will not join unless they believe that the gains from the association will outweigh the burden they assume as members. They may be induced to join through the incentives and gratifications offered, or they may be coerced as when men were impressed into the navy, or they may be persuaded through appeal to reason, emotion, or ideals. The motives or with which they join call for the satisfaction of at least some of their needs and desires through the organization. The correlation of individual desires and satisfactions with the existing and emergent aims, methods, and results of the enterprise is fundamental to the continuance of the enterprise itself. Hence, the importance of the element referred to as moral is the capacity of a group of people to pull together persistently and consistently in pursuit of a common purpose. Now, whenever we consider all these things, what is scientific management? Scientific management is the art of knowing exactly what is to be done and the best way of doing it under the system. The method of work is scientifically thought out. The workers scientifically selected and trained to perform the work, and the most efficient speed is scientifically determined. Okay, see what is done into scientific management. Yes, scientific management is an art, okay, of knowing exactly what is to be done and the best way of doing it. Okay, means the management assures that, or the management, okay, they draw the plan, means what is to be done, okay, and how it is to be done, or what is the best way to do it, is it okay. So in this way the system also plans for the method of work, which is also scientifically thought. Okay, the workers are scientifically selected and they are trained in such a manner to assure the performance of their task in the most efficient speed, which is also scientifically determined. Okay, now scientific management is also known as Taylorism because Frederick Winslow Taylor, who is also known as the father of scientific management, was the first to introduce scientific method at the workshop level. As the chief engineer in a steel mill, Taylor noticed wastage of time and energy on the part of workers. He found that workers were deliberately slack in performing their work. Time rate, being the basis of wage payment, was not conducive to hard work. He was amazed at the employers who paid no attention to this wastage. The methods used for performing the task were crude and unscientific, so that a worker could not produce to the maximum of his capacity. Taylor and other pioneers came to the conclusion that, in comparison to what was possible with scientific control, the industries were working at about 50% efficiency. Taylor demonstrated that proper method of work produced good results, and locating the proper method involved scientific investigation. Every employer should, by scientific investigation, develop the method of work and then teach it to the workers who must follow it. Another interesting fact discovered was that almost all workers were employed at the wrong jobs. Okay, the workers were put by Taylor on jobs more suited to them, and their efficiency increased. The adjustment of tools and conditions was another phase of scientific management. Gilbert has also contributed considerably to the development of scientific management. Gilbert was a building contractor. He noticed that the old and traditional methods of bricklaying were inefficient because bricklayer lost much time in examining and turning bricks in his hand and in making a number of movements to pick up the bricks and putting enough mortar on the wall, etc. By introducing adjustable scaffolding, Gilbert arranged to reduce the number of movements required to lay a brick from 18 to 5, and the number of bricks laid per hour were raised from 120 to 350. Okay, the two chief points in connection with the scientific management made by the Taylor have been complete cooperation between employers and workers or mental revolution, and scientific investigation as the basis of all decision. See, remember these two chief points. What are the two chief points? First one is complete cooperation between employers and workers or mental revolution, and the second one is scientific investigation as the basis of all decisions. Okay, so whenever we consider the contribution of F.W. Taylor, okay, these two facts, they are very important. Okay, just let's see what are these two facts, and then we will move towards the features or characteristics of scientific management. Okay, see, first one is mental revolution. In the words of Taylor, scientific management involves a complete mental revolution on the part of workers and management, and without this complete mental revolution on both sides, scientific management does not exist. Both sides must aim for cooperation for maximizing output and give up hostility and suspicion. Okay, both sides should take their eyes off the division of the surplus as the all important matter and together turn their attentions towards increasing the size of the surplus. Okay, usually the workers try to keep output low for the fear of creating unemployment. Again, due to payment on time basis, extra output or increased efficiency does not benefit the worker. Employers also do not take kindly to increase in workers' earnings. The net effect is mutual hostility and suspicion, resulting in low profit and lower wages. Workers should realize that good work brings down cost and pulls up profits with a consequent rise in wages. The employers should also recognize that if output goes up, cost comes down. Increased wages will still leave higher profits for them. Okay, therefore, workers should welcome efforts to increase output and cooperate with the employers. Employers should readily raise wages for it. Okay, both must recognize that prosperity of both depends upon the prosperity of each, and none should attempt to prosper at the cost of the other. Taylor never introduced scientific management without raising wages, for it is futile to expect workers' cooperation without material benefit to them. Okay, and the second point is scientific investigation. Okay, a management determined to make scientific management a success must make scientific investigation as its basis. It is necessary to investigate scientifically all factors relating to work and then perform the work according to the results indicated. The traditional rule of thumb method, that is decisions based upon the whims of the managers, must be given up. Nobody should decide anything unless all the relevant information is collected and until experiments have been carried out to test the proposed line of action. The following sections deals with the various aspects of scientific investigations. Okay, see, whenever we consider scientific management, okay, yes, what is must? First one is a mental revolution and the second one is, yes, scientific investigation. Unless until these two things are there into the organization, we can't determine that scientific management is practiced there. Okay, so whenever we consider the definition of scientific management, what is scientific management? Yes, scientific management is concerned with exactly knowing what you want men to do and then see that they are doing in the best and cheapest way. Okay, see, look at what the people whom you have employed they are doing, okay, and whether they are doing in the best manner, ensure it, okay, and whether they are doing the same thing in the cheapest way, ensure this thing also. Okay, so whenever we consider all these things, okay, just we will have an overview of contribution of F.W. Taylor and then we will move towards the characteristics. Okay, so contribution of F.W. Taylor. At Millwell Steel Company, he improved proper distribution of work for each worker. In Midwell Steel Company, he analyzed the work done by the workers in specific job and allocated standard time. He also made experiments on time study and motion study to decide the workload of each worker. In Bethlehem Steel Company, he had made experiments with materials handling equipment for increasing the capacity of each worker. In 1901, he presented a paper on differential piece rate system. In 1906, he published article on air of cutting metals. In 1903, he presented important paper on shop management. In that, he explained gang boss, speed boss, repair boss and inspector. In 1911, he gave the principles of scientific management, for which he is remembered as father of scientific management. In that, he has explained friendly relationship between workers and management, scientific education to the workers, scientific selection of the workers so that each worker could be given responsibility for the task, and the development of true science of management with proper analysis in the organization. Now let's see the different characteristics of scientific management. Okay, the first one is scientific task setting. See, scientific management determines the task for every worker through careful scientific investigation. Okay, so here the standard task is the quality of work with an average worker working under ideal standardized conditions, okay, he will be able to do in a day. Okay, this was called as fair day's work. Thus, Taylor stress upon standardization and pre-planning. Means here first, okay, the quality of work which an average worker can do, okay, in the ideal standard conditions, it is chalk out. Okay, means fair day's work is drafted. Okay, and what can be the standard into it, it is also drafted. Okay, then second one is planning. Planning, as Taylor says, that is the heart of scientific management. The planning was considered with four things as per him: what work has to be done, how it is to be done, where the work shall be done, and when it will be done. Okay, the first question was to be dealt with by the management and the engineering department. See, what work has to be done, how it is to be done, where the work shall be done, and when it will be done. Okay, all these 4 questions, okay, you are supposed to answer whenever you are practicing scientific management into your organization. Okay, so Taylor advocated the setting up of planning department. This department will receive detailed instructions and formations related to the type, shape, and quality of productions to be produced and the deadline by which the production is to be completed. In planning department, 4 persons were supposed to work. First one is program clerk, second one is instruction clerk, then time and cost clerk, and fourth one is disciplinarian. Okay, so you are required to hire all these 4 people. Okay, and they will see to it that yes, the work is done. Then the third one is working study. It may be defined as the scientific objective and critical examination of all the factors governing the operational efficiency of any specific activity. In work study, Taylor stressed on method study, time study, fatigue study, and scientific rate study setting. Okay, first one, method study. Under this study, the management make an overall study of the entire production process. Then the management should make efforts to reduce this distance to be traveled by materials during productive cycle. On this basis, a process chart setting out of the various operations may be prepared. With the help of such study, the management can try to ensure that the plant is laid out in the best manner and is equipped with the best tools and machinery. Okay, see here, first method study. In method study, what is done? Yes, a proper method of entire production process, it is drafted. Okay, then motion study. It is a study in which the movement of an operator or a machine in performing and operating for the purpose of eliminating useless motions is done. For conducting motion studies, workers are studied at their jobs and all their movements they are noted. Okay, then they are analyzed in such a manner, okay, and useless motions are eliminated. Thus, a less time consuming and efficient system of operation is developed into motion study. Motion study means just you keenly see that or check the workers, okay, and note their motions, okay, and useless motions they are to be eliminated or deleted. Okay, then it is time study. The purpose of time study is to determine the proper standard time for performing the operation. In the words of Kimball and Kimball, time study may be defined as primarily as the art of observing and recording the time required to do each detailed element of an industrial operation. Time study, when done with motion study, helps in determining the best method of doing a job, determining the standard quality of one's day's work, task to be done by an average worker, and in rating the work. Then, scientific selection and training of workers. Yes, here Taylor stressed on the systematization of selection according to the nature of requirement of job. Okay, having selected the workers, the management will assign tasks to them. Okay, every job must be entrusted to best available man in the factory. Proper attention should be devoted to the training of workers in the correct method of work. The scientific management requires the prior training of workers before allotting them certain tasks in the plant. Okay, then standardization. Taylor suggested the standardization of not only production but of tools too, equipments, and of working conditions. Also, he insisted upon the use and store of standard tools and equipments in order to get the best production. He advised the management to set an optimum speed for every machine and one best way to do each job. To attain the standard production, he insisted upon the maintenance of standard conditions of ventilation, heating, cooling, humidity, space, and safety, etc. The use of high quality raw material and good methods of handling materials were also stressed upon. Feature number 6, okay, differential piece rate system of wages. Taylor believed that financial incentive is the most appropriate incentive because man works for scientific money, okay, man works for money purpose, okay. To ensure the efficiency and speed of work, he suggested the system of differential piece rate wages. According to this system, two piece rate should be determined, one for the standard production and other for lower production than the standard limits. It was believed that each worker will try to raise his efficiency in order to get the wages of higher rates. Then next feature, functional organization and functional foremanship. What is it? Okay, Taylor suggested the scheme of functional foremanship. Under the scheme, the two functions of planning and doing are separated in the organization of the plant. 4 foremen will look after the planning work and other 4 will supervise the work in the shop. Taylor contemplated 8 functional foremanship. Okay, and the last one, the mental revolution. This involves the change of attitude on both sides. Under this, Taylor suggested that all the measures outlined in the system of scientific management will be fruitless until and unless there is a complete mental revolution on the part of both the management and the workers as to their overlook and attitude towards work and towards one another. Taylor has written that methods of scientific investigations and knowledge must be accepted by both the parties without any reservation on their part. So, concluding this, Taylor has suggested that the success of scientific management rests primarily on a fundamental change in the attitude of management and workers, okay, also their duty to cooperate in producing the largest possible surplus, and as the necessity of substituting exact scientific knowledge for the opinions or the role of the thumb of individual knowledge. So whenever we go through scientific management, what is scientific management? Yes, scientific management is a art of knowing exactly what you want men to do and then seeing that how they do it in the best and cheapest way. Okay, so with this we conclude today's lecture. Thank you.